Welcome. Let's go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, please have 2 blocks, some pillows, a blanket to help support our practice. You could also have some books if you have those as substitute blocks. And we're going to go ahead and start on our backs today. It's just a comfortable position where you can start to settle in and unwind from the day, potentially the week or the month. So we'll come into a nice comfortable position. You could also utilize your props here. So maybe you want a little pillow under your neck, why not? I like to bring my feet a little wider and my knees together. If that feels good for you, great. Maybe if that doesn't feel great, experiment a little bit. You could straighten your legs down your mat. You could have the soles of your feet together. Really doesn't matter as long as you feel good and you can relax. Bring your hands to your belly. If it's accessible, close your eyes and mouth. Begin to breathe in and out of your nose. See if you can just observe your breath here without trying to alter it yet. Begin to notice what your breath sounds like as it moves in through your nose, down your throat and chest, and into your belly. Notice what your breath feels like. Where in the body are you experiencing a sense of movement through each cycle of breath? Use this awareness of your breath to ground you down into the present moment. Begin to let go of anything that you may have carried onto your mat today. Any responsibilities, to-do lists, anxieties, stressors, anything that's still lingering in the mind. With each exhale, give yourself permission to let go of these things, to simply be still, and to rest. Remember that rest is just as important as anything on our to-do list, just as essential to the quality of our lives and to the quality of our mind, body, and soul. Let's begin to consciously deepen that inhale now. Try and draw your breath down into your belly. Feel it expand and soften. And if it's possible, try matching your exhale to the length of your inhale. Let's try for 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. With each exhale, allow your body to grow a little heavier, a little softer. And if it's comfortable, if it's accessible, let's begin to lengthen the exhale now. So try and make your exhale 6 seconds long while maintaining the inhale at 4 seconds. On each inhale, think about drawing that breath into the lowest corners of the lungs. And on each exhale, find a softness and a controlled release of that breath. Now you can remain here, or maybe bring your breath up to 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, or sorry, 7 seconds out. I'm used to doing the even breath. 7 seconds out. So we're maintaining the exhale is 2 counts longer than the inhale. Try and bring that breath into new areas of the torso. Find movement in spaces that may otherwise be still. And finally, if it feels appropriate, let's bring the inhale up to 6 seconds, the exhale up to 8 seconds. But we're still trying to remain easeful, remaining soft in the body. So if this causes any discomfort or is maybe a bit too much, just stay at the level where you can remain soft. On your next exhale, open your mouth and just sigh it out. Gorgeous. Let's go ahead and open the eyes. So we're meeting on the back here. Bring the pillow away if you can. And let's bring our feet as wide as your mat. Bring the arms fairly wide, and then we're just going to windshield wiper the legs side to side. Move fairly slowly so you have full control of the movement. Getting a nice little massage through the low back, the top of the glutes. And it may feel good to turn your head in the opposite direction of your knees, moving the head side to side, starting to massage through the base of the skull. Nice, and then once you've balanced both sides, let's meet in a neutral position, and we'll roll onto one side. Bring your legs together and gently push yourself up. And we're going to come into a seat. Any seat will do. Remember, this could also be on a chair. I just like to sit on my shins, so that's how I'm gonna do this, but it's gonna be all about the neck, so doesn't matter how you're sitting. All right, so we're gonna start to mobilize through the neck where we tend to get a little bit tense, a little bit of pain can develop here, so we're gonna try to make it nice and soft. Let's lower the chin down to the chest. And then we're gonna lift the chin up and back. Keep it going, moving the head up and down. Just try and keep the lower body as still as possible. So we're isolating this movement to the head and to your neck. Don't worry about finding a really big stretch. We're just mobilizing here. Nice, come to a neutral position. We're gonna add some isometrics into this to make it even juicier. So bring your fist underneath your chin and imagine you're lowering your chin again downwards, but resist this just a little bit with your hand. So we're adding some isometric resistance to strengthen some of these muscles around the neck, which can make a big difference in the quality of movements and sensations in the neck. Nice, and then we're gonna bring the head up and bring it down. Just, let's do this 2 more times. So just a gentle resistance. It doesn't have to be a big clench. Make sure it's not too intense. Just a gentle resistance until you feel a little bit of engagement. Let's just do 1 more. May feel a little bit funky at first, but it's so good, so nice for the health of the neck, that cervical spine. And then we're gonna do the same thing, but behind the head. So bring one hand behind your head, and just as if you were lifting your chin, lift the chin, but resist this just a little bit with your hand, and then come to neutral. Bring it back, resist, just a little bit until you feel engagement, Nice, just 2 more. Again, don't tense, don't clench. We don't want to feel like we're gripping, but it's just a subtle engagement here to add a little bit more resistance and a little bit more dynamic into this movement. Nice. And then come to a neutral position. Now we're just going to move the head side to side, gazing over each shoulder. Notice if your shoulders are moving with you to facilitate the movement. Keep the shoulders still, and we're just moving the head from one side to the other. Now you may find a little stretch, you may not. Don't worry about that too much. Just focusing on mobilizing right now. Balance out what you've done on both sides. And then just as before, we're gonna resist this movement. So bring, let's just do the left hand to your left cheek. And just like we did, like we're turning that way, we're just gonna resist just a little bit until you feel some activation through the side of the neck. Nice, let it go. Come back, resist. We're not gripping, let it go. Just 2 more. Resist just a little bit, just enough to feel a little contraction. Let it go, and then just 1 more. Nice, let's go to the other side. Right hand to the right cheek. Turn into it, just enough. Let it go. Turn into it. Let it go. 2 more. 1 more. Sometimes I can't count, but I think I'm counting all right now. And then come to neutral. Nice. Now we're just going to move the ear towards the shoulder, side to side. I like to flip my palms up, but whatever feels comfortable for you. So we're just going to move side to side a few times. Now this one, for most people, we're going to feel a little bit of a tug. Make sure that it's not pain, but just a little tug is absolutely fine. And a really interesting thing to remember about tension or pain in the neck, it can actually result not necessarily from muscles being too tight, but it can sometimes be muscles that are weak. So right now we're giving the neck a little bit of both, a little bit of movement and just a little bit of engagement. All right, let's come to neutral, and I'm sure you guessed it, we're going to resist these movements now. So let's start with the left side again, hand on the cheek and ear lowers to shoulder, and then just resist just a little bit. Come up, resist just a little bit. Come up, resist, resist. Come up, nice, just 1 more. Come up to neutral, head over shoulders, and come down to the other side. Just give it a little resistance, and you may feel this engagement through the left side of the neck. Come on up and come on down, resist. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. Come up, resist. The face is still soft. Come up, come down, last one. Notice if you're clenching the other hand. Oof, and then come up. Nice. All right, we've done this little funky stretch before for the neck. We're gonna do it again. So this is kind of like the chicken head. So you're moving the chin forward and back, and a lot of the time people will move the whole body because it's really hard to isolate. So just bring your hands to your chest so you know that your torso is still. And as you exhale, we're just gonna push the chin forward, and then we're gonna pull the head back. So let's just do a few of those. Notice where you feel a little engagement. Notice if this is hard for you. Keep breathing. Notice if your shoulders are trying to help. Nice, and then we're gonna resist the same movement. So bring your hand to your chin and then just push forward and come back. Push forward, just a little bit, just enough, come back. Push forward. Come back, and just 1 more. Push forward. Woof, and come back. Nice, hand behind your head, and we're gonna push straight back. So instead of like we did before, when we lifted the chin, we're gonna move the chin straight back as if it's gliding across like a flat surface. So if the chin isn't moving, it's the head that's moving back. And then bring it forward just a bit. Bring it back, pushing that chin back towards that hand. Bring it forward, bring it back, just enough. Just one more. They're so, so good for that cervical spine health. Oof, and then let it go. Okay, the next one I'm admittedly terrible at, okay? Some of you know this already from Tuesday. I'm really bad at this. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better. What we're gonna try and do is glide the head side to side. Honestly, like my hand is a better example of what this should look like. And now what a lot of you are gonna wanna do is what I wanna do, which is like you kind of tilt the head and lift the ear. And this isn't really what we're going for. What you wanna do, you wanna keep your chin level and it's gonna wanna lift. So we're just gonna move to one side without the shoulders moving. This is as good as I can do. And then the other side. I'm so bad at this. You're probably better at me than this, and you know what? That's fine. We all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses. So just move a little side to side. Notice if you're tilting your head up. Honestly, don't even look at me for this one as an example. Like, I'm really terrible example for this. I'm trying my best. Do just one more each side. It's so embarrassing. And then we'll come to neutral. I don't know what it is. And then we're just gonna resist this movement again. So bring one hand to the side of your head, doesn't matter which side, and just push to that side. And then come away, and then give it that little push. Come away, two more, give it a push. Come away, just one more. And come away, woof. Other side, give it that little push. And if you're like me, it might take you some time before you can figure this out. Come away, give it a little push. Come away, give it a little push. Come away, and then just one more, resist. Oof, and then come away. All right, now we're gonna bring this forward and back movement and the side to side movement into a full circle. So instead of our normal little head rolls like this, we're gonna try to do a funky circle. And if you struggle like me with these, then good, because that means we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So first, we're just going to move the head forward, right? And then we're going to move it to the side. I'm so bad at this. And then we're gonna move it back. And then we're gonna move it to the other side. And then we're gonna move it forward. If you're struggling, that's okay, me too. To the side, back, to the other side. So bad. Forward, one more time, side, back, side, forward, and then come to neutral. Whew. Just rest for a few breaths. And if that's really difficult, if this is the first time you've ever done these movements, that's all right, it's fine, it's all about practice. The brain will appreciate the new input though. And then we're gonna take it around the other way. So now we're just gonna move back first, then we'll move to the side, then we'll move forward, and then to the side, and then back, side. And I just have my hand here to give myself feedback. Forward, so I know where my chin is. Side, kind of. Bring it back, to the side. Bring it forward, just this last one. Side, back, side, and then forward one last time, and then bring it to neutral. And if you're kind of like me, you kind of want to move the whole body to do that, and that's all right. Just be aware of your own kind of biases there. And then we're going to bring the hands onto the legs, palms face up if possible. Lower your chin down to your chest, and then we're just going to take it around in a nice slow circle, as long as that feels good and juicy. Keep breathing, and take it around the other side. Keep breathing. Try to keep the lower body still, maybe even close your eyes, can feel really lovely. Nice, and then let's meet in a neutral position. Let's come onto all fours for tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under your hips. Close your eyes and move through the slowest cat-cow how possible. So as you inhale, slow as you can, lowering the belly and lengthening the sternum. And as you exhale, rounding into your cat pose, chin to chest, tail moves to your heels. And I'll encourage you to keep your eyes closed if you can, so you can really sense into every little movement that's occurring through the back of the body. And then let's meet in a neutral position. Open the eyes. All right, I'm gonna challenge how well you can move and articulate in your spine. We're gonna start from the low back, the lumbar spine, and work our way up. So all we're gonna do is move the low back, and we're gonna keep the rest of the spine still. So instead of the whole spine moving, we're gonna keep that upper back and the neck still. So you're going to lift your tailbone up, and then we're gonna tuck the tail. So you're gently bracing the upper body. Just move through a few of these. It'll help to push into your hands. And this may look really easy, but it is difficult. It's gonna cause some heat to cultivate. And it is so, so good for the health of your spine to be able to articulate and in this way. And if this is a bit of a struggle at first, just know that's absolutely fine and very common. And I was the biggest struggle bus of them all, I promise. And then we'll meet in neutral. Now you're gonna gently brace the low belly and the lumbar spine will stay still. We're just gonna move in the upper part of the spine, that thoracic spine. So as you inhale, you're just gonna gently lower the sternum down. And as you exhale, we're going to round the back a little. Now notice if your neck wants to do all of this work. Notice if your lumbar spine is trying to come along for the ride. And again, it may help to close your eyes here as well, so you can really focus on that upper and mid back moving. So you do have a gentle engagement through the low belly so we can keep that lumbar spine as still as possible. Ooh, it's really hard. And then we'll meet in neutral. Now we're going to keep everything below the shoulders still and just move through the neck, which is the cervical spine. So everything else is still, bracing the belly, and we're just going to lift and lower the head. Move through the full range that you have in your neck, in your cervical spine. May feel a little bit funky. Nice, and then come to neutral. And if it feels okay from this tabletop, see if you can circle your head one way. If it feels okay. And circle it the other way. Woo. And then we'll meet in a neutral table. And then we're going to lower down into a child's pose, but very controlled. So walk your hands slightly in front of your shoulders. Keep bracing through the low belly just a little bit. And as you exhale, very slowly and deliberately start to lower down towards your child's pose. And come all the way down. Now, if child's pose is not a restful pose for you, let's try to make it as cushiony, as cozy as possible. Now, something that can feel really good is a pillow between your heels and your bum. You can even get a blanket under your knees and your ankles as well if you feel any discomfort there. Now, if you have a bolster at home, that can work well between the legs to support the torso, or you can just grab some pillows. I'm just quite lazy with my practice, I just got my pillows. And you can lower down onto that little structure, maybe bring a block under your head. Do make sure that your head is supported here. And bring the arms in front of you. Direct your breath down into your belly. And then gently move your head side to side, either on the floor or your prop. And we're massaging the space right between the eyebrows here as you move side to side. Should feel really lovely, really nice. And try and keep your attention with the breath and with the sensations that you're feeling throughout your body. Nice. And then find stillness. Inhale, we're going to lift the head just a little. Extend your arms actively away from you. And you may need to move your props. I'm not sure how you're propped up, but you may need to move them. Sorry, I got all southern there. And then we're going to walk our hands off the mat to the right hand side. So we're just going to walk them over to the right and stop when you find a nice tug through the left side of your body. Think about lowering your left hip down, pulling that left hip down a little further, and lowering your left shoulder down to the floor just a little bit more. Keep breathing here. And imagine you're directing your breath into the left side of your body, filling that left lung with air. Relax through the head and through the neck. And if the head isn't on the floor, see if you can bring something under the head so it is resting on something. On your next inhale, slowly come back through center. Reach your arms forward and lengthen both sides of the body. Exhale, walk your hands off the mat to the left side. Actively reach your right arm away and draw your right hip back and down. We're looking for a nice little tug through the right side of your body. Relax your head. Focus your awareness on what sensations are occurring through that right side of the body. Has your breath changed? Imagine filling that right lung all the way up with breath from the bottom all the way up. Take a deep inhale in. And as you exhale, gently come back to a neutral position. And let's flip the palms up to the ceiling just for a moment. Stretch your fingers and draw your thumbs down towards the mat. Try and keep your arms straight if you can. Take a deep inhale down into the belly, reach through the fingertips. And then exhale, bring the palms down and soften all the way down once again into your child's pose. Do have a little experimentation with your props as well, so you find a supported position that works for your body. Bring your awareness to your breath. And try to direct your breath into the low back. See if you can feel the skin across the back body expand and stretch in response to your deepening breath. Notice the movement of your rib cage. It may feel good to bring your arms around by your hips. Your shoulders can fully relax. Stay in this posture for as long as feels appropriate for you, as long as it's feeling good and restful.